What's up, y'all? It's Jam and Sam, and today we're going to continue recomposing Donkey Kong 64 to sound like Donkey Kong Country. And we're going to continue with Crystal Caves as we started yesterday. And I see Welcome Gamer XT. Welcome Jimmy Jones. Cannot wait to hear this. Yes, you're here. Nice. Love the enthusiasm. So let me put this there so I can see that. And okay. So here's what if you didn't catch yesterday's stream, here's what we got going on from that stream. Oh, I see. Since the last stream, I had made a little spot there. I'm not sure I want that still. Let me try to Control Delete. I might need this as one of those sections I might need to revamp. But I like this section. Okay, so that's a pretty good start. I kind of actually want to bring back that earlier section, because it's, yeah. I think 2 sections of that would be fine. But maybe make it louder, or like quieter, I mean. Oh, and then maybe put one of these notes up high. No, the thing is, like, it's really overshadowing the balafon. The Alt X. Okay, so yeah. So that's a good start, but one thing that I neglected was that Dave's compositions are based first on like a good tempo and rhythm, which the bass usually drives, and I kind of neglected that here. And so I need to figure out, it sort of sounds like it's all over the place at the moment. So I need to figure out like a strong rhythm for the bass to follow. Now in the in Crystal Caves, this rhythm was, oh, it's I got a lot of latency here. Let me see if I can turn my latency down to the minimum, and it's not much that I get with this style. Well, I can't get my zero latency set up while I stream, but let's see. Basically, the rhythm of the original played by the bass was just like. It was just that 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. So it was kind of simple, but if we go by the rhythm imposed by the melody, which Dave's rhythms were usually had a little more to them than that. They had a little more syncopation and Latinness to them. So if we go by that, it would be like the first one was like da 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 da. So we could use that where it's like, and we can play it in like fifths where it's like. And we can use that, or we can use the second section, which does da 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 da. And I had originally wanted the bass to come in like, let's see, after the percussion, which means that in this section, it would play the chord progression as. Let me see if I can play it with the song and mute out the bass at this point. But this is too much going on, so let's mute that out too. But it can't be following the melody. It would have to be. Oh yeah, that's cool. Yeah, that would be cool. So, chord progression we have is like F, D, but then I can't go down to D because this is as far as a guitar goes, so I can do. Or I can make up my sort of my own rhythm, let's see, based on that. So the original is like, so. Yeah, I like that. And then we need to go to D. But it changes from E to A halfway, like at the end there. Oh, then I can do. But I'm not going to try to play this. It would probably be better to sequence it. Let's see. Let's see. Wait, but I need to do this in the bass line thing. Let's see. So I want this bass line isn't used anywhere else, so I want to just clear these notes out and start writing something different in there. But I might want to keep that little bit at the end because that's a good like run into the next one. And these are really, I don't know. Let's see. But I want these gone for now because I don't even know if I'm going to use them. So this part, I want to be like dun, 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 dun. But I want to do that. Dun, 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 dun. And I want to shrink my snap to about a step. Then I can shorten this. And then I want to go walk down, dun, 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 dun. But then I really want to, I want this to start on B. Because, whoops, messed up the rhythm there. Okay, and then I can kind of repeat this pattern. And then at the end at the last beat of the bar, this one changes to A major. So I can put this, as long as I put this up to C, it tracks. And then I want to lead up to D. Or I could send this down, this note down to A. Okay, and then paste the pattern again here. And then have this, because this would be G, so let's put this up to A so it's D minor. Okay, and then at this bar we switch to, we actually do switch to G, so let's just bring this note down, back down. No, wait, which, is it G? Yeah, it is, okay. And then from G we go to C. We can lead in like that. And then we'll remove these notes because I like that lead in. Well, actually, no, the lead in might change now, but at this point we go into F, which I am currently in F actually. Whoops, I went out of range there. Let's see, so this is gonna have to go to like... Nice. Okay, let's check out that. Okay, much better. What's up with that whole tone craziness? What whole tone craziness? Welcome, John McIntyre. Welcome, Hirdatina. Welcome, Kohito Ergo Sum. Nice, big shift there. Shift from one style to another. What's up with that whole tone craziness? I don't know what you're talking about, actually. Yeah, if there's any whole toneness you hear, let me know. I don't know. And then I kind of want to do like a da-da-dum. Yeah, I think this part needs some more syncopation to it now that I think about. Because I kind of outlined a rhythm here. Yeah, maybe we can use something more like that because that has more syncopation, at least in the lead up bits here, where it's like, because it's like, yeah, it's like that. It's got more, so like this shifts over. Da, 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 da. Yeah, and it might be too notey for that, like right there. Yeah, maybe we should just stick with the rhythm that Grant put forth. That one's better. So this just needs to match the one, but like the one before just needs to match this. There's that one. Did that one work? Hold on. No, don't do that. I hate it when it puts its own selection over there. It's kind of avant-garde. Okay, I did that. Let's see. This. No, wait, I think I did. I think I transcribed it wrong. Let me just copy that and bring it over here. Okay, so it is the same rhythm. I guess it's just not gelling. Or maybe it's the note lengths. Okay, that's a little better with the note lengths. And I think it would sound better also if there was some legato in there. And then this one, I kind of want to see. I can make that rhythm pretty well. Just push this part there, and then. Okay, and then so on. Okay, this one has to undergo the same change. Okay, cool. Maybe he's talking about the octaves or something. Oh no, octaves don't insinuate whole tone. I don't know. Welcome, some South Korean guy. I have a quick question. I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel soon with my wife. So can we have permission to use your music and videos? We love your work. Oh, nice. I love that. That's awesome. Yeah, feel free to use the music. Just link to me. Like, you can tag me in the description of the videos that you make, or include a link to the videos in question. And then that'll be fine for me. Good luck. Happy creating. Okay, so let's see. Now the sort of like, I was trying to go for like that lo-fi hip hop rhythm but in the melody it doesn't work. So I might just quantize this, because it doesn't, I mean, it just feels too avant-garde, except for this part is supposed to be played in thirds. So if I shift I and then I control Q, that'll quantize it. It should be in time. Whoops, I accidentally hit something on my keyboard. And that bass line I wrote should mesh well with the percussion, because it's kind of doing that sort of thing. Okay, let's see if introducing that ostinato back in there will have a good effect. I don't know. Let me get the paintbrush. See what that does. Well, not with that. It kind of works, but not with that balafon being so low. What's up with the volume on that one? Is it not? It's never loud enough. I feel like that. I don't know, it's not really gelling together. Yeah, I think first of all, either this thing's gonna have to go up an octave, or it's gonna have to go away completely. And you know, the other problem is that this patch, often just has really random loud notes, so I think it's not a good candidate for that sort of thing. Maybe the pad, what we usually use for the pad would work. Yeah, that one's a little more wild. Let's quantize that. That one might be a little bit. Okay, and then that sounds better. And then the Valafon can relax a little bit. Okay. That's better. But I think these notes, since everything else is more staccato, these notes should be too. Let's just go and take everything that's like this length and try to put it back. Okay, I think the other problem is that there's too many things like just dramatically coming in and out. So I think that maybe I can shift this up and then make the pads come back in there. Oh, maybe I can repeat that beginning part. Yeah, maybe it's like a false restart. Oh, that's cool. Dave sort of did false starts like that often, like in Minecart Madness, how it's like seems to start over again, but it actually just does something different. Yeah, that kind of ties it all together, I think. Oh, there's something's offbeat here. Yeah, this one's a little bit off. And those echoes on the balafon, kind of would like them to ping pong a little bit, rather than just echo out like that. And I need a mixer I need a limiter on the mixer because it's going off, it's peaking. Yeah, that'll do. And here I kind of want to bring the ostinato back. Oh wait, that's not gonna work because it changes. It's changing key too much here, or it's in a different key there. I think it's not that it's. Yeah, but I'm not sure I want to because these repeated ostinatos, they didn't usually change them a lot. Like he didn't have them change with the song. He wanted them to be a constant. Usually he has those things as a constant. while the rest of the song changes. There's like one thing that's staying the same. But that just means, hey, we have space here, we can write something else. But I don't know what yet. You know what, I thought we need like a synth here. That would be cool to have like one of those synths that Dave has. Slightly different on the second loop, I never knew that. It's not the second loop, it's not like actually the second loop, but it's like he sort of has a false start. Because in the middle of the song you hear that bass again, that like synth voice bass. And it just goes straight from like what does it do? It's like, for that it's like da 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 da. And it's doing that whole thing where it's like and it climaxes, it goes and then it stops and it goes straight back to the beginning with that bass. It's like so it's like going and going and then it just drops. And it sort of gives it a sense of a false start because it returns right back to that place it was in the beginning. But then after that, it goes straight into a melody. Da 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 da. And that's where you get that melody part. Thank you very much. Your DKC work is my favorite. Glad to hear it. Enjoy. This reminds me of some RPG music from the PS1 era. Well, I unfortunately was absent at that era, so I will not be able to relate. So, yeah, I don't quite know what synth I want to do there, but let's see. Because Dave does a lot of like resonant synths, like it's like high resonance. If you don't know what that means, I'll show you. But basically, there's an type of analog synth. I start from a, like, put up Harmer and start from just a saw wave. And if you take a filter is going to muffle the sound. And basically, if you look up at the spectrum here, basically what it's doing is just filtering out the higher frequencies as the filter cutoff goes. Until nothing is left at all. But if you introduce resonance there, basically it takes the peak where it rolls off, and it makes the peak sharper to the point where there's even a peak sticking out. That's going to be kind of loud, so I'll turn it down. And Dave does a lot of these synths in the DKC series, which is like where you get the... It's like where you get this... That's where you get the, like when he does the... It's not that, it shouldn't be that high, actually. You get a lot of synths like that in Donkey Kong Country 2, where it's like... But it's changing while it does that, so it's like... But Dave does a lot of that, especially in Donkey Kong Country 2. Seems to like that changing of the filter. But we could do something like that with the chords, or we could go for no chords, and we could just do a, like we could just put reverb on it, and then just do a, yeah, that sounds better. If we add delay to that, and we make it like, we make the timing Dave usually does the timing in 3 steps. And then for just for to make it sound better, we just to me that sort of sounds a little bit like drops, like the drops of the cave. That sounds really cool. Now, if we right-click this and edit articulator, and then we go to LFO, we can have this constantly moving, so it'll move up and down within time. But we have to do global for it to change while the note is being held down. Now this is probably going to be something that we want to be stay really subtle. Don't want it to have vibrato. This is some type of movement he might have used in Donkey Kong Country 3, GBA. Let's call this synths. I'm gonna make a full line just for the synths, really. Basically, what we can do is just paste a bunch of notes here. Oh, but we need some space between them. And now this synth is really loud, but we can raise the reverb and get some chorus on it. But see, the thing is, like, the LFO resets, like, whenever I was playing it like this, I like how it kind of restarts like that. Maybe we can do something because where it plays a beat, you know. So if we and the way to do that would be to convert this to like an actual like automation. So if I were to say like disable this, and then instead I were to edit events, and then this thing has a function called the LFO, where basically I can change the speed. I think it would. Yeah, that was about what it was. Now it was also higher. Yeah, like this. Nice. Now, the only other problem is that this line is way too quiet. And partly that's because the patch I'm using the same patch as for the pads. And the pads have to sort of be quiet, but... And I think if I put the velocity down, it would also muffle the sound, which I don't want. Let me see. Oh no, it actually doesn't respond to velocity at all. So, what I want to do, I think I can modify the patch to make it respond to velocity. I think it's important to do edit all groups for that. So I'm going to remove the group editor and the mapping editor. And then go to amplifier and add a modulator. And I want external source, velocity, and that should take care of it. It should be automatic. Now, I like the volume where it is, but the melody, unfortunately, let me at first make sure if that part of the melody will respond to like if I just raise it all the way up. Oh wait, there were a few notes that I brought down because they were really high and they ended up peaking everything. Oh wait, no, but that actually didn't work, so it doesn't matter anyway. Yeah, those two notes. Well, that works, I just have to make those go down. Nice. I think it's a combination. This one also needs to be quieter. Nice. And that's also something we can come back to a different part, like maybe another part. Yeah, that sounds good. Okay, now this patch is now... it's more noticeable when I put the velocity up. And these pads are now less noticeable. Yeah, I think I want them to be more noticeable. Yeah, that one's a little bit, the thing is a little bit. But here's the thing, the pads, I don't know that I really like the texture that the pads are putting forth, so I might just change that. Welcome, Marcos GZ. What's up? How's it doing, dude? Going good. How are you doing? I hear that the distortion and synth effects are common in DK. Yes. Welcome, Morris. Great work. Thank you. Enjoy. So I might change this one because we have so many mallets going on, it kind of might be nice to have something more consistent for this, but I like it for the opening bit, where it's just like that part. So let's cut this, and I'm gonna bring it to. I'm gonna try to get something else. Should I get? There was a patch. Let's call this resonant synth. Resonant effects. Something like that. So, there was a patch which I remember using before, but also I might like to use the Jupiter 8 because there's that string, those strings that are really nice from Donkey Kong Country 1. And I might. Oop, too low. And the thing is, this whole patch is like all these notes are octaved. They have 2 octaves going on, but I don't necessarily need that. Because this synthesizer has a really bold sound. Oh, that's nice. This one I don't need either. But I can use 4 notes here. Because over this whole thing, I pretty much just have like 4 notes going on. So I can add a 7th, or I can mirror the other part. Real quick, what's the 7th? D. Oh, that sounds nice. That one doesn't sound nice. I'll just not have a 7th there. Or maybe have a different one, like the 9th. Have the 9th in there. That way the 9th is just another F. Nice. Okay, let's try the 7th here. The 7th here would be A sharp. Okay, then I want to fill like the lower space here. I want to start going down because I want it to feel like it's getting bigger. That would mean maybe bring this F back. No, it would be a G here. But we can't really do that, so let's go past the G to the next one, which is the A sharp. Oh, we can't do that either. Let's just do something. Make it, like, extend it, make it bigger. Ooh, that is nice. I like that instead of the C, maybe. Oh wait, no, I like it with the C. But I don't really want to go past the 4 limit. Ah. Okay, and then I still get a fourth note to put somewhere here. G. No. Back to that same problem again. Maybe D. Nice. Let's have that come in here. I think we should introduce it beforehand. Yeah, and this, if this crystal is playing above it, we need something else to play this. Let's see what else we got. Alt-C. Ooh, I like that. Let's just bring it down an octave. Nice. And let's turn the velocity down on that because it's too present. Oops. This one is low. This chord is low velocity here. I forgot to raise that one up. And I kind of want to have something, something more play this melody. It needs a little helping out. Maybe the balafon didn't really get well represented throughout the song. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. And then let's put that here, and then Alt-C to change. Ah, it goes out of range. Now, in order to, I want to move it down an octave. And I want that to be less velocity because it's peaking. Nice. Nice. I almost want to go back to that same rhythm that we used before, like this rhythm, which I originally had before over here. I'm not sure. Okay, and the strings I kind of want to be brighter. Okay, the bassline needs to come down in volume. Okay, it actually didn't need to come down in volume that much. I think it's just... I don't know what it is, but it's showing as... It looks like it's peaking. I think it's randomly peaking. That's okay, we can take care of that with a limiter. Let's turn the threshold down, give it a little bit of volume compression before it gets limited. Take that money, King. Thank you, Dangarangs. Welcome. Oh, I forgot to change this over to the Jupiter 8. Now this should probably be normal velocity. Oh, whoops. Needs to go down at least one. I like the way it just like grows like that. Maybe I'll keep it as like in like 6 notes. Let's make that a huge chord. G, G sharp, B, E. So it's like an E. Wait, E major, with a 7th, and then. Yeah, I was gonna see if I can make it like a big chord with lots of extensions, which would mean F sharp would be next in line. I could do like that. Nah, too much. Either that or I might have just had my hand on it. No, that's too much. Okay. Yeah. But actually, since this is E major, the bass doesn't really reflect that. I think that's part of why it wasn't working. Because the bass reflects the earlier repetition of it, which I don't actually have bass for, and now I'm just using it for that part. So that doesn't make any sense. Nice. Much better. And I kind of want the voicing to be higher on the pads at that point. So this... Yeah, I could use the F sharp. Yeah, that works. It works if it's above. Extensions don't really work if you invert them very much. Like... And then this note is doing a G, which is gonna kind of be weird, but it's good. It's supposed to build tension. Okay, perfect. Now the only other thing that concerns me is that the drops they just kind of get too loud right here. You see how there's a big peak? And that was kind of distracting to me when I first played it. So let's put a limiter here and catch those big drops when they come in. So now if anything peaks past there, it's gonna get like reduced. Like that. Nice. But cool. Now the only other thing that stands out to me is that this part here is rather empty, so I might want to put another one of these, like these sort of things up here, like with the pads. But I'll need to write a new one for this one because this one's a different chord progression. Let's do this, and then I'm gonna go to my volume. Wait, no, not that. The other one. Oh yeah, volume. Yeah, it's the one for that one. Okay, so this, hopefully when I copy this, it includes the automation there. If I copy this and just paste it there, nope, doesn't include the automation. So what we need to do is go, or just go to patterns, honestly. Adds number 2. Oh wait, I have it. It has it checked off when it's like there, but it's not actually there. Okay, so let's Control B. Now we have it there. And so now I need to choose my notes to play. This would be, yeah. First we need F, which we have. Then we need E. And then D. And then C. Ooh, that's nice. Nice. Okay, so for this part, since the two mallets are kind of confusing, I might switch. I might play this when we play this part again. I might switch it to the strings instead. And because the timing, one thing that's confusing about this is that the timing is free tempo, so it's kind of yeah, kind of not working for it since there's a beat in it at this point. If I quantize that, it should work better. Oh, and I should not be pasting it here. I should be pasting it to the Jupiter 8. It should not be here either. Ooh. Very lush. I think it should be quieter because it tends to fill up the space a little bit too much. Nice. Nice. Okay, so now the other thing that stands out to me is like it would be nice to have a sub bass in the beginning. Let's try that. Let's get 3XOSC, which is literally like the simplest synth you can get. That's for whenever you only need either a sine wave or noise, really. What I use it for anyway. So what I want is like 2 sine waves sort of at and then one like with each an octave from each other. And so what I want to do with that is there we go. That's our sub bass right there. So let's go, and if you're on your phone, you probably won't be able to hear this, because phones don't do that. So I kind of want it legato too. Yeah. And so I wanted to kind of go down lower, but I can't, because the lowest you can go is that at E1 right there. Otherwise, if you go any lower than that, it won't be audible to human ears. Might be making music for cats at that point. Not sure how compelling that'll be as a bass, but yeah, let's try that, see how it does. I think I want to use the lower octave. I can raise it up after that. It's quite relaxing, even though it does make a big jump. And I kind of want to introduce the sub bass even a little bit earlier. Like maybe that bar. So let's do this, and then Control A, and that 2 bars later. And since this is a C chord, I'll introduce it at C. No, I definitely don't want that to get too loud as a bass. And Dave doesn't really use sub basses often. The only time he did is in Mining Melancholy, when you have that sub bass in the beginning. And one thing he did to make it not get so like annoying is that he had it like have a long decay rather than a sustain. Oh, and then I forgot this part. Need to make it hit F again. And then at the end of this one, I kind of wanted to do A, because it switches to A. And that leads into the next one really nicely, too. So here, you can hold shift and push up till that goes to the bass track. Okay, but at this part, we're going on to G. Ah, wait, it changes here, not there. Okay, and actually, Dave did use a sub bass. Other than that, he just usually used the PWM strings from the Wave Station, which is derivative, I do believe, of the like Poly 6, like Korg's Poly 6 synth. So that could be, and he used that as a bass sometimes. So this could be like if we put this here and that like over here, and we switch to PWM, and then we put the cutoff filter around there, it should give us a... Yeah, but it's too much. Ah, there we go. That's about sort of what it would be, what it was in the game. You have to turn it all the way up though, and then that's still not enough. Not enough volume. But let's check that out. I think you have to go up an octave though. Kind of like the sub bass better though. Not really. Oh yeah, we also have to give it the phase ensemble thing. That's what makes it like sound really like a string. Okay, that really makes it sound like the game. Good. Nice. Let's call this PWM bass. Okay, so here, I want another bass note. And it's got to be at C again. And it's great because that resolves, it's like a classic, like a complete resolution. G is the fifth of C. Okay, and Dave didn't really usually use two basses a lot, except for in Mining Melancholy when he did use a sub bass and switch to that, so I don't know. But and I think it would help, like, to have, yeah, if we remove this one, it would give it some variation. Okay, this now needs to be like here or something. Nice, that works. Oh, there's another note here. Oh, what? Wait a second. Oh, this is stretching out. I see. You have to close that out. Ah, and this one is also stretching out as well. Nice, I like that. Okay, cool. Now, I'm about halfway done here. Sub bass is simply for higher quality speakers or everything that's not on a mobile device. It's for higher quality speakers mostly. The fact is that a sub bass you need. Most headphones will go that low, but you know the cheap ones won't. You kind of need a higher quality one, yeah. But I mean, cell phones, no way. Cell phones don't even come close. Cell phones don't even have bass, let alone sub bass. Cell phones, laptop speakers, no bass, no sub bass. Any headphones any headphones or earbuds you get are gonna have bass, but they might not have that much sub bass. Only the kind of higher end ones are gonna have sub bass. But the reason Dave used sub bass is because back in the day, the TVs were huge. They had to be huge because they couldn't make them very small. So one of the side effects of being that huge was usually they had a pretty good bass, an okay bass response, and a lot of people would just have home theater systems anyway. So if they did, that would accommodate them. I think that was the reason, because I'm not actually sure. I don't think TVs back in the day had a good bass response, but they had a good enough bass response that you could hear bass more than a phone today, definitely. Yeah, but anyway, so that's pretty much. I think this pretty much covers what I wanted to do for this song. Let's see. Now the other thing that I wanted to do was there's a I've been trying to do these where it's like I cover one of like the main song, and then I do one of the like sub songs that are within that. Like whenever I did DK Isle, I did the lobby theme, like one of the lobby themes, and then whenever I did Angry Aztec, I also put the temple theme on that. And so for this one, I kind of want to do that Viking theme, the one that when the Viking like is just like dropping stalactites. And the thing is, like, that's a really short theme. It's basically like one of the chase themes. Like in Donkey Kong Country 2, the Flying Croc or Run Ramby Run. And it's kind of supposed to be like that. And Grant, he did like a sort of thing where it's just like a timpani and some strings doing a 12-tone thing. But I feel like Dave would have had something different to do on that, where he probably would have made it like a Nordic or Icelandic folk song, like, because they have those, like they had like Nordic and Icelandic folk songs were always like they very like war, like they gave the feeling of war, and it was like a slow driving, like, let me see, it would be like something like that. So I kind of wanted to combine what Grant did with that, like, because this is a slow thing, and the song which Grant, or the piece, the little interlude which Grant put forth, was a much faster piece. So I thought about like putting that as the double, like it's double tempo from, and then you do the slower part layer on with this. Hold on 1 second. Yeah, so one thing he does that I like, the most obvious part of the song, which I do want to bring into my creation, is the timpani. And so let me see what I have for a good timpani sample set. I think I have a good one on the Play system, on the Play East West Hollywood Orchestra. Let's see, where is that? Okay. So if I go here, I go to Hollywood Orchestral Percussion, go drums, and then go to, where is my timpani? Okay, so timpani, I want it to be pretty short, and I want it to be a hard hit, so do that. Okay, let me go to Omni. Oh, it's down here. Okay, so we could start with that. Let's see. Let's call it find verse empty. Call this Timpani. So let's put this maximum velocity. I think, let me see what tempo this is if I just do... No, it has to be faster than that. And it has to be less, I think I need less velocity, just do more than that though. But I do need it to be louder as well. Okay. And I think most Icelandic, like a sort of Nordic folk songs are written in D sharp. That's why I use this thing. Let me try and yeah, that's good. Let me shorten those notes. Maybe it'll like ring it out less. No, it's the same. Okay, and then I can replace that with drums here. I want this to be about 8, yeah, maybe about 8 bars, because it doesn't happen for long. You have about that long, and then it just stops. So it doesn't need to be a long song at all. I'll do that, and then I'll end it there. So, what else do we want? There was a string bit that was playing. There was like an erratic sort of like... This project is a superb idea. Thank you, Soches. Welcome. Okay, so and let's see. I need strings now, and I do quite like the strings from Donkey Kong Country 2. Those Marcato strings. I think those still work well today because they're a really high, good sample set. Loud though. Yeah. So, and one of the things, I think the way Dave would like have done this is like, let me get the channel number to 8. Okay, so channel number 8, I select here. What is that? Oh, interesting. I think it's playing the drip track. Yeah, interesting. Okay, so, wow, that was loud. Okay, sorry about that. Let's see, let's turn that down a bit. So what do I want to play? Oh, sort of like, I can do something sort of like, Haunted Chase. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I think I need a longer riff than that. What did he do in like the Flying Croc, where it was like... something like that, so... Okay, and And the timpani is a little bit too much, so I might actually just nix that. Or maybe, instead of going up and down, you just have it go down. Dum, dum, dum. Yeah, let's do it. Let's roll with that for now. Now this part. Yeah, let's do something like that. Let's turn down the velocity a little bit. And then do a little variation here. Okay, and then I think I kind of just want to rip off the flying croc thing. And just had... something like that. Okay, and let's take this to a new pattern since it's a 4-bar thing. Let's see, call this strings. Okay, no, wait, did I not put that there? Okay. Oh wait, is it only 2 bars? Whoops. Okay, but I think I need more movement in the timpani. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, and then maybe have like a Okay, so while we're doing that, I need something to play over the melody, maybe like da 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 da. So I want like kind of like a sort of like ancient horn sound. Probably gonna want to use a bassoon for that. Try to do that. This thinks I want to use the mod wheel to do vibrato. Let's not do that. Let's see. I want expression to be linked to the mod wheel, and then vibrato to not do that. It's still doing that. Why? I don't know. Let's unassign that. Okay. So. Something like that. But first, I think we have to set the mood a little more before the melody. I think we need some kind of bass instrument that's gonna be like boom, boom. So let's do that. Let's find verse empty and call this bass 2. Use this. Can't do that. I think it's only supposed to be, it should only be for like a half a bar. It's sort of like a brand. Boom. And then maybe the strings. Okay, and then maybe the bass can just stick to the lower octave. But this I don't think is working well for that. I think the moto bass might do better. Maybe at least in one octave. Ah, not really. Okay, so maybe we can do this with the strings though. Ooh, I like that. Now this has to be quieter, because it's causing... I just kind of wanted that to be something that falls into the background. And I might want it to go higher. Or maybe both. Maybe first an octave down and then it repeats. Control B with an octave up. Okay. I do want something a little more than that, like I don't know. But for now, let's do I want to do that melody. Maybe I might have to cut a lot of that out. Let's see. Okay, so yeah, that'll work. Let me find first empty and call that melody 2. Okay, and let's record that. Nice. Okay, let's move this guy up here, the top, and then let's quantize this. Let's unrecord and Control Q. Whoops, this note. Nice. Okay, and we're gonna need to change the harmony, particularly what's in the bass. So I want it to change here when it hits that B. Maybe I want it to go to like B major. Let's go and make a variation on that. Make this. And I think it kind of can go back down, like on the way down after that, it can kind of go back to, like down to F sharp. Because there's a really nice sweep in that, in like Nordic, like Icelandic folk music, where it does this sort of like it does this like, what is that, in minor that would be a 6-3-1. This quick 6-3-1. These are gonna stay just one thing. Let's do a fifth, and then another, and then an octave. Actually, I want this one to go down. Nice. And then I think I can get a bass here. And this one's gonna have to go up. Yeah, I like that. Now this is gonna have to be a lot louder. Okay, this even gonna have to be even louder than that. Okay, and then on this part, let's see, I'm gonna have to make this a whole like line. So let's see. Okay, and then it's gonna have to go. Gonna have to start on D sharp and then go. Let's see, where does it supposed to change? Yeah, at the next bar. So then it goes. Nice, like that. That'll be the template. Nice. Nice. Nice, interesting. And I think it might have to go on for longer than that, because the Viking, it's like, does a cutscene at first, and then, but I'm just making excuses to, like, make it longer, but, you know. I might need something more striking to make the stingers pop, like the hits. Nice. That's a good starting point. How much time do we have left? About another hour. Okay. So I want another horn on top of that too. Like, so let's call this bassoon 1. And let's clone this and do bassoon 2. And let's copy this and then would have knocked it down. Oops. Oh, it doesn't go that low? Oh, I have to do the, oh, geez. Okay, so I have to assign it for everyone. So maybe it doesn't go low enough, so maybe we can just omit the D sharps. Because I like that it, like, around the stingers, it comes in with another horn. That's cool. And then here, it can climb up rather than go down. Oh, that's too, yeah, those notes are too close together for all that. What can I do here? Maybe just one long note. No, that's too much. No, just let it go. And this one, maybe have it go up. This one can be a lot quieter. Interesting. I'm gonna have to work on that a lot. Yeah. Welcome 001D. Glad you're loving this. Okay, so yeah, I'm gonna have to smooth that out. It's not gonna gel today, just like the other one. The first one didn't gel right completely yesterday, but it's coming along. It'll come along. Now let's see. Actually, I think it's mostly just this melody that isn't gelling. Maybe... Maybe I just have to, like, use the bass instead. like it better with the bassoon on it. And maybe this expression can be less. Yeah, I think that higher part of the string should just go a little bit more in the background. Yeah, it's coming together, I'd say. Yeah, that'll do. Might flesh that more out later, but I don't really have any more ideas for that. I think we'll call it there today, and then we'll play the complete one again before we go, like play the complete song, and then we'll come back tomorrow with maybe some original music actually. But I think this would probably be the end of my streaming for this track. This is going to be part 2 of the series of Donkey Kong Country. Donkey Kong 64 tunes composed more like reworked to be more like Donkey Kong Country. And I've already have part of the video for part 1 out. It's been out, so if you haven't seen that, you can go check it out because I've done the first half of the themes. So yeah, let's play this one more time, and then that'll be that until I edit the video. Nice. I might extend that to that last part because it's just a bit short, even if it is short in the game. But yeah, that'll conclude it, and the rest I'll just do on my own time. And then tomorrow I think we'll come back. Well, I'm gonna do some I want to do some original tunes. I want to start a new original tune. That would be fun. Alright, y'all. But thanks for coming to the stream, and this will be Jam and Sam signing off. Until next time, take care.